a good look. It's the Cobra Loco.
Joe's got trouble. He's got his bag. Cobra's got a puzzle and it's up his ass.
Loco's loaded for action.
It's the new Cobra Commander, Cobra!
Hey everyone, it's Mike from Junkion Crafts and Builds. We are back again for another impressions video for G.I. Joe Classified Series action figures. And this time we are going to be looking at none other than the big baddie of Cobra, number 168, Cobra Commander with his combat battle armor. Now this one was one of the highly anticipated figures that I wanted out of this wave, and I was very fortunate to see that it came in stock at Walmart, even though I have them pre-ordered through the usual e-retailers, Amazon, and Big Bad and whatnot. But like Fred 7 always says, if Cobra Commander taught me anything, he taught me to seize an opportunity when it presents itself by any means necessary. And that's what I did, going to walmart.com and praying that I would get this. It was supposed to be an overnight delivery. It was delayed, but it came in this evening and I'm so excited to get this out of the box. So let's just talk about this real quick and get to that point. Standard G.I. Joe box we are used to seeing now. Nice big window here showing pretty much everything you're getting with Cobra Commander. Alternate head, backpack, weapon, iguana? Wonder what that means. Classified number 4, 4 and above. Stats we go nowhere. And there's a QR code if you want it. This really cool image of Cobra Commander pointing at you saying you will buy this. On the back, more promo images. Again, some more details. Not bad. Not the strongest picture that I remember from all the ones promoting this figure. Again, that artwork of Cobra Commander. And again, number 168. That's the box. We don't care about it. Let's get to the figure. So I want to go ahead and do the retrospective right off the bat before we start looking at everything with this figure, because there's so much to talk about, and Cobra Commander in and of himself can be an entire series of videos, but I want to focus specifically on this version here. So before we dive in though, I need to give huge shout outs to the amazing JLS Comics. I had a great chance to talk to him on the It's Chad podcast a little bit ago. Great guy. Again, research out the wazoo in regards to G.I. Joe. Thank him so much for his efforts on this. Additionally, I used yojo.com and Joepedia. All three of these resources were absolute gold mines for G.I. Joe fans. Their research and archives made this video retrospective possible. And if you're into the lore like I am, you owe it to yourself to check them out. So I'll put links in the descriptions to all three of them below. So Cobra Commander has worn many iconic looks over the decades, from the gleaming chrome faceplate and royal blue uniform to a darker blue tactical gear with a special headdress. Moving on, and then this version, Cobra Commander in his battle armor. Now, to some fans, this isn't the most iconic look for him, but that's selling short the incredible design work of Mark Pennington, who came up with this design for the vintage O-Ring toy line. I still remember looking at this figure hanging on the pegs in Kmart as a kid, begging my mom to get me one of them, only to get, the classic response we'll see. Took me a few tries and a couple lawns mowed, but I finally got him home, and man, memories. But anyway, this change just wasn't cosmetic. Da Vinci's file card told us that while Cobra Commander liked being in the front lines, there was always a concern for his safety. So Destro's factory built this special armor from bulletproof polymer and beryllium steel, air-conditioned, solvent-resistant, ray-shielded, packed with a comm system, environmental sensors, and a mini computer on top of an anti-tamper device hooked to his head with a half-pound of explosives. Thankfully, this was the only suit produced for the commander because each one cost about as much of a fighter jet to create. So basically, protection from machine guns, magnums, and the indignity of being taken alive. But that's only half the story. Comics-wise, we are all aware Marvel's G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, ran for 155 issues, introducing a rich roster of characters. Among Cobra's ranks were the elite trooper called the Crimson Guard, masters of infiltration who all looked identical thanks to plastic surgery modeled after one man, Fred Broca. Now, these Fred series operatives lived as ordinary citizens while secretly serving Cobra. Enter Fred 7, running Fred's Autos in Denver by day and specializing in robotics by night. In issue 58, Cobra Commander brings his injured son Billy to Fred 7 for a cybernetic leg after a tragic accident. While there, Fred shows off his new invention, the battle armor. Cobra Commander suits up, and soon after, a failed mission sends him back to Fred's shop where Billy, now awake and fiercely anti-Cobra, rejects him. Shaken, Cobra Commander contemplates quitting. Fred, fearing Cobra's future, shoots him in the back. After shooting Cobra Commander, leaving him for dead, Fred looks at the armor and says, "The great thing about this armor could be anyone inside," and thus sparks a massive storyline where Fred 7 impersonates the commander and leads Cobra into a civil war with Serpentor, and eventually gets exposed by Destro and the Baroness. As the comic series continues to unfold, the real Cobra Commander returns from the dead, thanks to another Fred series, Fred 8, and full of vengeful, ruthless thoughts, his mission is to punish the imposter. Fred's final fate was sealed when he was locked into a freighter with Dr. Mindbender, Raptor, and a bunch of Cobra troopers faithful to him, sent into a lava tube, which was therefore sealed, locking Fred and his other compatriots in a volcano. They were later found by Cobra troops dead from botulism. Pretty brutal. So over in the animation side of G.I. Joe, after G.I. Joe the movie and Deke taking over production, Cobra Commander was still a snake, quite literally, due to the brutal punishment of his trial at Cobra Law from Gallipolis. His escape at the end of the movie led to the Joes winning against Cobra Law and saving the world. But as we started in the Deke series for the cartoon, we find in the miniseries Operation Dragonfire that Cobra Commander has been recaptured by Serpentor and is kept as his own personal pet. But all is not perfect in Cobra under the Deke series, as the actual hierarchy of Cobra was in disarray. Baroness goes and plots to take Serpentor out. With the help of the Dreadnought Nagahide, they use the mystical Dragonfire to restore Cobra Commander for the most part. He's still green and reptilian, but the commander was given a battle armor suit to challenge Serpentor. And harnessing the Dragonfire, he formed a Python patrol and staged a coup against Serpentor. And in a way that truly shows the despicable nature of Cobra Commander, he used the Dragonfire against Serpentor and turning him into an iguana as a twisted display of dominance to the rest of the Cobra ranks. And therefore the iguana became the pet of Nagahide, and thus we saw the end of Serpentor in the Deke series. The 1987 Battle Armor Cobra Commander figure came out in Wave 6 and stayed on the shelves until 1989. He appeared in the toy commercial alongside the Cobra Pogo and the G.I. Joe Slam. Both those vehicles were also featured in the Real American Hero issue number 59. The mold resurfaced in 1997 in a Cobra Command Team 3-pack with Destro and Baroness, and again in 2001 paired with the Laser Viper. And finally got a modern articulation upgrade in 2008 for the 25th anniversary line, even including a version with an unmasked Fred 7 head sculpt. And that came with the comic pack number 64. So whether in comics, cartoons, or the toy aisles, the Battle Armor Cobra Commander has been more than just a wardrobe change. It's been a mask for multiple men, a symbol of comebacks, and sometimes the downfall of the man inside. But now, let's look at the Classified series and see who's really behind the helmet this time. Let's find out if Cobra Commander really is who he is now. So I hope you like that retrospective. I really enjoy looking up these things because I have all these characters and I have my own personal memory bank of what I think the character is and what he or she's done, but it's really an opportunity to go through and dive back into what made these series of figures great for me as a kid. But anyway, here we are with number 168 in front of us here, so let's talk about him, and we'll look at the aesthetic of him first. And it really is a cool re-representation of that 1987 figure with the armor. It's got a classic, profile, good look at it with just a couple modern tweaks here and there to the sculpt. Overall, it's a really good figure in my opinion. There's a lot of good things. There's some Hasbro-y stuff we'll look at here, but we'll start in with this head sculpt here first off, and throwing some extra light on it here. You can really see that there is a nice streamlined look, but this is that classic helmet we got. Nice big eye windows, if you want to call it, to see the commander's eyes there. We got that hose. Originally it was a separate piece, so now it's sculpted into the head. A nice blue and red accents throughout this body here. The gray or silver, whatever you want to call it, gunmetal, it's kind of like a matte satiny look versus more of a shiny battle armor look. Not sure how I feel about it. I mean, it's good enough. It's not swirly plastic like a Marvel Legends, so it is paint on there. But I don't know. I might spruce it up a little bit, maybe a little dry brush or something. It's an all new sculpt. I mean, we got this nice detail on the biceps here, sculpted elbows here, new forearms, hands, nice sharp sculpt here for the belt buckle with Cobra on it. Here it is from the back. We got this spine bracer here going to the back of the plate. So environmental hose wrapping around the figure. We got our holster molded into the belt this time, so it's kind of free floating, which is good, so it allows you to have a little more freedom with articulation. The legs nicely sculpted. Again, it's really good attention to detail to the original figure, down to the boots even, with this nice painted bottom to his feet. So overall, really, really cool. So then looking at articulation, we can see that the sculpt, again, this is where the Hasbro team comes in and Hasbro's it up. You really can't get any look up. Here, do this up or down with him. You get some rotation around. You barely get any sort of twist, and that's because, as usual, the Hasbro team ball peg plastic right up to it. So this will be yet another figure that if you want to modify it, you got to cut the plastic around the ball peg to get a little more articulation. We'll snap that back in place. Anyhow, torso. We got our shoulder pauldrons attached inside, or the shoulder peg here. Our butterfly, excuse me. We got a butterfly articulation that kind of works, but not really. Mine are a little tight here at the shoulders. But again, the pauldrons got out of the way. You can get a T-pose fairly well. You can, because that piece is floating in place, you can only go up that way and back around. It's not really going to allow you to do a full rotation, which is fine, I feel, for what we're doing here with this figure. We got our usual bicep cut. We have our double jointed elbows that get you not a really true, full range, but I think you get enough of it there with the sculpt. We have our, obviously, wrist rotation. We have a vertical hinge on this hand, Doesn't really move too much though because of the sculpt of the forearm guard. Same thing with this side here. Get a little bit up, a little bit down. Again, nice detail on these gauntlets. We get an upper torso twist. So with that, you can go back that far. You kind of break the sculpt a little bit, but at least the sculpting goes all the way up. Again, this one here, you start moving around, you know, you gotta line them back up if you wanted to look, you know, true to form with that plate armor. But then you also have your waist ball peg. You can get, between the two, you can get a little bit of a torso twist here. You can teapot a little. Again, this cod piece here and diaper is molded in a softer plastic with that sculpt. That being said, you have your drop downs, which allow you to get a decent range up and out. Again, not being hindered by the holster here on the side for his weapon. You get thigh rotation that is nicely hidden by the armor here. So that's a nice engineering bit here. Double jointed knees gets you a nice full range. Again, proportionally, it's a little long here for the lower leg. It is what it is. We have a very smartly hidden boot cut for T-Man 978. We get 3 clicks down, 2 clicks up, and a pivot. So again, nice articulation for a figure that normally we would say should be more restrictive. But no, I give the Hasbro team props for giving us a really nicely sculpted and well articulated figure. Again, we just need the heads to look up. It would be so nice. But anyway, I digress. Let's move into the accessories. That's the fun stuff. Moving into accessories, like I said, we're going to look at Cobra Commander here, and we're going to start off with this alternate head sculpt that it comes with. This one is much more in line with the Deke storyline. He is still a humanoid, but he's green and reptilian, and we got that look here with the eyes. And again, it's very easy to swap it out, put it on, and there we go. Now we got a more reptilian Cobra Commander for leading the Cobra ranks. Next thing we get is his battle armor backpack. This is where it gets a little weak for me. As you can see, it's molded in a silver swirly plastic with some slight black accents across here. It looks really cheap. I'm not gonna lie about it. You know, again, even the back is just really simple. So, you know, I can take it or leave it, but again, it's gonna peg into his back fairly well. So that's what he's gonna look like. Next, we have his signature laser weapon here. Not too gummy at all. You know, it's nice enough. Does not have a removable magazine, but it is blast effect compatible. So that's nice to have. Out of the box, it comes with a pair of trigger fingers. He will additionally have a pair of fists. And of course, it wouldn't be Cobra Commander without his pointer finger. The final and coolest accessory, which really solidifies where the Classified team was going with this figure, as I keep messing with him because I want to play with him some more. But we also come with an iguana piece. And like I said in the retrospective, we all know who this is supposed to represent. So again, this is another animal that, you know, the Classified team has been, you know, presenting us here. And while this overall is just a simple PVC body, it does come with 4 articulated legs that you can pose. So if you want to have, you know, Serpentor looking upwards, sitting from a rock, you can do so. Or, you know, being held by a benevolent leader of a criminal organization. But yeah, that's kind of a cool little nod and throwback to the cartoon. I'm down with it. So, but that's the accessories that he has. Now we have him all armed up. Let's look at some of the previous Cobra Commanders we've received in the Classified line up until now. I could go through a bunch of different G.I. Joe figures and have them up here against him, but this is the grouping that I really just feel everyone wants to see. And I think Other than Snake Eyes, Cobra Commander has the most variations of himself in the Classified series. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments below. No problem being corrected. I just feel like I have the majority of figures here, minus one, which we'll talk about, because we start with Wave 1, Cobra Commander in his dark blue uniform. Again, this is a modernized take from the video game. We also had a very special edition Regal version, which was a brighter blue that we see in the later releases. We also have the Supreme Cobra Commander, Supreme Snake version, a very ornate printing on the front of his tunic here, decked out in gold and red. Very cool looking. Next we have the HasLab Cobra Commander with the Mickey Mouse ears. Moving on to the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for 2024. It was the Once a Man Cobra Commander. Love it or hate it, it's there. Then we close out with the animation retro style Cobra Commander with the white stripe and the vac metal faceplate. Really cool, still readily available in my local Targets here in the DMV. All culminating into this version that we have before us. There's still other versions of Cobra Commander, but I don't know if we're going to get that unless you yourself want to pick up an extra one of these figures and get a customizable piece for him. And of course, I really want to see how a couple other head swaps look with them. So here we have with the default, or my preferred, head that comes with number 168. We have America's Hero on the comics kind of most villainous person around. I think this is a nice look. Again, because it's Marvel Legends and G.I. Joe, the teams don't have anything uniform in regards to the head anymore. So if you want to do this version, you got to put a little sticky tack on the ball peg to get that look. And if you want to have him as much more reptilian and more in line with the Deke or cartoon series, you can have him here with the Once a Man Cobra Commander head. Looks cool, snaps on very easily. I like this as an alternate version as well. And if you want to cross the streams, and I think this is a really cool look, this is the retro Cobra Commander head on the battle armor body. The blue matches perfectly with it. That white stripe is a really cool contrast. And again, that back metal faceplate is just rocking. I really like it. This again is a cool alternate look. So final impressions of the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 168, Cobra Commander in his battle armor. This is one of two figures in this wave that I'm really anticipating. The other one is going to be the Dreadnought Monkey Wrench. Love that guy. But this is a really good testament on how well the G.I. Joe Classified team can do a figure. Again, all new sculpting for this, very much a nod to the nostalgia fans, as well as giving it enough of a modern take that keeps in line with the rest of the Classified series. Articulation is really good. A lot of really smartly designed ways to hide the articulation joints, particularly in the thigh, in the bicep, and in the boot cut. So again, really cool. Just enough accessories to make it exciting between the two alternate heads that gives a nod to both the comics and the cartoon, as well as giving us another animal. Oh, so cute. Out of focus, but still cute. Anyway, a lot of really cool work going into this figure. So are you going to pick him up and add him to your collection? Which version of Cobra Commander do you like the best? Which one do you like the worst? Let me know in the comments. As always, I love reading what you guys think about the videos, good, bad, or indifferent. Leaving a like and a comment really helps me out, also helps out the channel. And if you like what I'm doing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you are knowing when I put out another video, whether it's going to be G.I. Joe, Battleverse, Savage Crucible, Marvel Legends. I run a gambit of stuff that I like and don't like. We'll see how it goes. Also, I like doing a lot of 3D printing stuff for the crafting and building side of things that, you know, I'm told I'm not doing enough. So maybe I'll talk about some of the 3D prints I've been making, like this air defense unit. But that's another video. This is all about Cobra and Cobra Commander. I hope you liked the video, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.